Righty. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and to a wonderful special edition of the Flan Fan Show. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm welcomed by Mr. Hollywood and a legendary guest on the phone. Hollywood, bring him in.
That's right, Johnny, man. Got a new look, new overlay here. It's playoffs. It's round number 2, getting ready. Start up tonight. But we're going to recap. We're going to go over what happened round number 1, and then we'll go into our round 2 predictions. Giant, how you doing over there, brother?
www.239hockey.net. Follow us on Twitter at 239hockey. Guys, lots of things to discuss tonight. Not only the upset and patheticness, the how pathetic some of these teams were in round 1. It's not only that, but we got predictions for round 2. I mean, last week, guys, I'm kind of upset because all of us were saying who the team was to beat, and they ended up laying a stinky ass pile of dog poop, a steamy, stinking ass pile of dog poop. It's freaking pathetic, and I can't wait to get into it. As a matter of fact, that's the first series I'd like to get into, fellas. I'm pumped up. I hope everybody else is pumped up. I want to thank all you listeners and watchers out there. This show wouldn't exist without you guys, and we appreciate everything. We appreciate you guys listening to us. Go ahead, Blaze. What you got over there?
Well, Johnny, definitely, I mean, we'll go over that. There was definitely some upsets. There was definitely some disappointments around 1. And I think we also have Maureen Mike that just joined us on here as well. So we'll give you guys our analysis. What's going on, Mike?
I'm doing good. Hey, I just got to say one thing. Hey, Giant, you were absolutely right. Crazy Yetis, 17 fucking million kids kept him from winning the championship this season.
Whoa!
I don't know. What series you guys want to start up with, man? So those 4.
I really want to start off with the Niagara Ice Frogs versus the Simps guys. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we were saying that the Simps were the team to beat. I mean, Flowed, Flowed, and all these other guys, they were unbelievable during the regular season. Wizzy War, and they the first 3 games, guys, and I don't know, it looks like the 4th game was played on a different night, okay? And then what ended up happening is they just ended up laying an egg on the final night on the 17th, and they couldn't do anything, so shame on the Simps. Ice Frogs, congrats to the Ice Frogs. Number 7 pulled up the biggest upset of the season by far over the number 2 Simps, and practically Superstar stole at least 2 of the games, maybe 3 of the games, so congrats to Superstar. And Flowed the Rocket Richard, the Art Ross winner, scored 0 goals and only 2 assists in game 5 to 7. And guys, if you're going to lay an egg like that, there is no chance that the Simps have any chance when your number 1 guy of the season, top scorer in the league practically, is going to lay an egg like that in games 5 through 7. Flanny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number 7 beating number 2. Mikey, what'd you think about this series, man? That the Simps going down in round number 1. They said it was the best team drafted in 239 history on there. Well, they went out early, man.
Like best team shitted. No, seriously, no, nothing to take away from the Simps. They played a hell of a series, but I mean, if you want to break down the team, look who they had in night 1, compare who they had in night 2. You got to remember, this team was solely built off. I think every single player was a part-time player. So. I mean, if you look at like I said, so look at the stats compared to the line 1 to line 2. Line 2 favored the Ice Frogs because they look at the talent compared to the 2. So they were able to capitalize that they're not winning the 4 games on night 1, and they came back and did reverse sweep.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it took to win. Hey, Johnny, if you could pull up the stats image on there, if you have it for this series between the Ice Frogs and the Simps. I mean, when I look at this, I look at the series. We mentioned, we all took the Simps on here. Obviously number 2 seed on there. But when I mentioned on the previous show, I said, in order for the Ice Frogs to come out and win this series, number 1, Superstar was going to need to steal a game. At least one game on there. He did night number 1. And I said they need to force to get this over to night number 2. If they could do that, whether they're up 3-1, whether it's a 2-2 series, if they get to night 2 on there, they'll have a really good shot. And that's what happened. Sims could not close it out in the first night. They should have on there, but Superstar in game number 2 absolutely stole the show there. I don't know how many saves he had in that game, but they ended up winning that one 2-1. Almost got the shutout. They scored maybe like last few seconds of the game. But then, Wizzy War comes out big. Wizzy War was huge in this series. The 4 games that he did play, you take a look at his stats. I mean, the guy is tremendous. What he got? 9 goals, 4 assists, 13 points, 2 game-winning goals in the 4 games that he did play. But once Wizzy War was out of there, once Ron Don was out of there because they're part-timers, here comes night number 2. Nobody showed up here for this team. They had their chance in game number 5, went to overtime, but they lost 2-1 final on there. Once they lost that overtime game, it was all over for the Simps. You mentioned, Giant, about Float not scoring anything in night number 2. Here's the scoring champ. Here's the guy that had the most points in the season on here. And for him not to come out with 1 goal in the last 3 games is just, we talk about captain stepping up. Young Kelch did it for his team. Flo did not here. And it got so bad, Giant, on here that he even put himself to play defense in game 7. Because he knew he wasn't scoring anything on there, And let's not take away from Superstar on there making some tremendous saves in 2 out of those 3 games there in games 5 and 7, and they win. And that's what I said. Ice Frogs did have a chance. They beat them in the regular season. They swept them in the regular season, so why not? And unfortunately for the Sims, it's an early exit here in round 1.
Yeah, this is Zips is a prime example of what happens when you pull out early. It becomes a hot mess.
Yeah, you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I had an emergency phone call.
No problem. No problem. And you look at the stats on here. Superstar looked at 86 saves in this one, 80.4 save percentage, 4 wins in this series. Hall of Fame as well. Hall of Fame had a great, as a defenseman, he had 5 goals. 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points, 2 game winners as a defenseman. You can't ask for a defenseman more than that. And I have nothing else here to say, man, unless you guys have here. But the Sims are moving on. The Ice Frogs are moving on, and the Sims, that's all she wrote, man. Done.
The only thing I'm going to add is this is probably one of the most exciting series of that first round with the Sims going up 3-1. And the whole lineup thing, that's gonna factor in a lot of things. It's really easy, but it is what it is. That's an extra layer of challenge for the captains to be like, okay, who's gonna be my first night, my second night? You got to kind of balance that and weigh that out. The one stat that really pokes out to me, and I'm looking at them now for the team stats, is the power play percentage for the Ice Frogs. Power play percentage of 0%, but they still came through. So it's a very surprising stat despite the outcome, but congratulations to the Ice Frogs and to the Sims on a great series, on a great season.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, we mentioned the part-timers and everything. If you're deemed as the best team drafted on there, it doesn't matter who's out there, what line. You draft, people think you drafted great. You had a phenomenal draft to get that type of, name, persona on your team. And to it took game 7. This was a series that actually went the distance as opposed to the other ones that we're going to get to. But that's it. Ice Frogs take down the number 2 and go on to round 2.
All right, guys.
What's the next one, man?
All right, the next one we got is none other than Orange Stuff versus Cobra Kai. Now, guys, we knew that this was going to be difficult for Orange Sus. So this went predictably bad for Orange Sus. No competition, really, for Orange Sus. They lost the series 4-1. You know, Orange Sus, they won Game 4 2-1. But Game 4, late guys, they get there tired. They got one game. Game 1, they were down 4-2 in the third, battle back to tie it. Pale takes a late lazy tripping penalty, and Cobra Kai scores with 0.2 seconds a power play goal to win it. The other games weren't even close, guys. And we had Pale Poner over here and asked him about the trades when he made all those trades. Were they smart trades? It does not seem to be that way. We mentioned the trade with Ozzy, but it goes back to before then. Pale, Ozzy, and Nick the Greek were top 10, maybe top 5 in points to start the season. He trades his goalie and only defenseman Ben Solo to get sober. Why get sober? Because Sober is part of the administrative staff? Because he felt bad because Sober got traded to the last place team when he wanted to save him? When he got sober, then he forced Nick to go play D. It didn't work out. And then he trades his best winger, Ozzy, to get Mox, who is generally a forward, but has D willing. Pale should not have made any moves or just play D himself. And he didn't even play Dangles at all when they were down 3-1 in a series. Complete disaster for Orange Sus over here, guys. Flanny, what do you got on this?
Yeah. I mean, look at the stat sheet for Orange Sus. I mean, the guy that had the most points was Nick the Greek with 4 points. Everybody else on here just pretty much, 1 goal, maybe 2 points at the most. Your best player is your goaltender, Legion, who had 62 saves on here. But where was the rest of the team? You know, once that game 1 was over, that 0.2 seconds, that was as close as Orange Sus was getting in this series, you know. Brick didn't even play game number 5. They had Tricky come in to play in net for game 5. It didn't matter. They still got the shutout 6-0 on here. And it's not take away from Cobra Kai. Great team here. Cobb, phenomenal season. Phenomenal round 1 here for him. 10 points. Bomber with 9 points. And even Odd Guy on defense with 9 points. So these guys had no chance on here. I mentioned the only way they could have, I wish Pale would have went to play defense on here. I wish they would have put in Dangles in one of these games. Maybe it could have changed the outcome because whatever he rode on there did not work. You know, like I said, I think Pale only finished with like one goal, 2 points maybe. Sober maybe had like 2 points. You know, Mr. Anderson I think had 0. So, you know, you have all these guys that are great players, but not performing here at all. Mike, what about you, brother?
This series was nothing short of emo-ness. Like, it was just, after the series ended, it was just nothing but hate. I mean, you had Rick, who fell asleep before the series because he was shoveling snow. Hey, we got hammered with snow. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens, you know. I had to go push my wife's car, and I was exhausted. I was like, I'm ready to go to bed. But like you said, like, they brought in the backup, and they still got a shutout. And when that happened, you had Pale already in the chat telling Figo that, I'm sorry, not Brick City, that, hey, that your team doesn't need you. You're not as good as everyone thinks you are. I mean, what's that say about Brick's Vesna? I mean, if they can put any goalie in there and get a shutout, I mean, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, Cobra Kai is the #1 ranked team here this season as far as the record goes. So, you know, they're getting it done, whether it's offensively, defensively, there. You know, so they're moving on to round number 2. And like I said, not much surprise here. We all took Cobra Kai on here. Maybe
I would have loved to see Pale play defense during this playoff series with Ando. I mean, Anderson's a solid right defenseman. I actually got to play a couple of times with him in front of me, and I enjoy him on my right side. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't chase. He makes smart plays. And Pale's a solid player. He's consistent. He knows the game well, and he would make a solid defenseman pairing with Anderson.
Yeah. Well, they should have. I mean, Pale finished the series 5 games, 2 points. You know, Mr. Anderson had 2 points. Sober had only 2 goals in this year. Mox had 0 points. So, I mean, you look at that. I mean, you know, that line was not working.
But like we said before, millions of times, Pale Poner airlocked himself out. The airlock with that trade with Mox and Ozzy. I mean, you had a guy who was top 10 in scoring. You trade him because he didn't pass enough and he wasn't more versatile than Mox, who was bottom of the barrel scoring goals, who had D-wing. That's not a smart trade whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I think also, besides the Ozzy thing, I think also what Giant brings up point, you know, we picked up Sober. Why did he bring Sober to this team?
Well, he picked up Sober, but he barely played him half the time.
You know, but why bring? And then when he brought him, he got rid of his only other defenseman, you know, and he got rid of his goalies. That means Legion couldn't even play D. Legion had to come play in that. So why get rid of your defenseman and bring another winger when you have a great forward line that's doing a great job? You know, Nick, Pale, and Ozzy were doing great on the forward line, and then to bring another winger, you know, and then he probably wouldn't make that Ozzy move had he not you know, messed around with that whole forward line.
So I like to point out that I'm not actually smoking today. I'm actually having a nice banana chocolate muffin.
Thank God.
I mean, look how beautiful that thing is. Not to mention probably the high level THC that's in it.
What we got next, Rawls? What's the next series?
Yeah, so the next game we got over here, guys, is going to be the next series we got is Crosby, Niels for Malkin versus Wasp. And, guys, here's the bottom line. Wasp they pure dominated this series. At this point, I think they're going to win the entire thing. They gave Bilden net, who had an awful 77% save percentage, and then they have a guy who's potentially a fossil at this point, McGilla, on defense, and it doesn't matter because this offense is unstoppable, guys. Mash and Hergs, they swept round 1, and don't be surprised again if they sweep in round 2, Flanny.
Yeah, Wash looked good, man. Wash looked good. I had Wash to win this series, you know, and they did it quick. Night 1, boom, done. You know, 4 games to them. Game 1, 4-2. You know, 3-1. Game number 2. Game 3, they were actually up 5-0. You know, and then Crosby woke up in the third period. Somehow scored 4 in the third, but it was too late at that point. Even with B. Cripps played his ass off in game number 4. I forget how much saves he had. He must have had like 20 saves in game 4. It didn't matter. Wash still win, and they still swept on here with Mosh, you know, with Hergsy on there, and even Gallo coming through late in the season here for them. Watch out. This is a very hot team, man. And they showed it here round 1. What do you think, Mike?
No, I thought this series was going to go longer than I expected. I mean, but yeah, 4 games. I definitely thought this game was at least going 5 or 6. I definitely was not shooting for Wash to win the series, let alone sweep the series. I mean, B-Crips, he's a solid goaltender. Flaming Dragon put together a solid team. I mean, we saw that night in and night out. There's consistently winning series. And then Wash, since the trade deadline, has been nothing but falling short on series. So, and they almost missed playoffs, I believe. But they were able to turn around in the series. It was it was just great teamwork overall. Like everyone was picking up their slots. Everyone was picking up their loose pucks, clearing them. They did a great job making sure Bills got the series win that night.
Listen, man, when you got your goaltender has a 77 save percentage and you're sweeping a team 4-0, that's got to say something on there about this team. Because definitely. I mean, just look at the series scores. I mean, two of the games they held them to 1 goal. Yeah. They did, and even game 3 where they gave up to 4, but that was in the third period. At that point they already were up 2. Maybe they got a bit relaxed. It's 5-0 at that point. Outside of that, yeah, they kept the opposite team. B Crips played great. I mean, B Crips on the other side, even though they got swept, he had an 81 save percentage, but it wasn't enough to stop this team. Like I said, they are very hot, man. Giant really likes so, man. Says they might even sweep next round. I know Schwartz doesn't like that comment in the chat.
Schwartz in the chat letting us know, man, he's not going to get swept. It's going to be he's not feeling that they're going to get past him. And actually, that's going to be probably the next series I think we're talking about, because Johnny Kling's Classic, they're going to be a tough team. I mean, they played hot that first round. They played.
Yeah, let's pull that up, because I really want to get into the predictions tonight as well. It's going to be a bit short, because at 10 p.m. we have to switch over to In the Crease. We do have a series tonight. It's between Hergzy and Johnny Kling. That goes down tonight. So what's the last series here, Johnny? What we got?
Yeah, so we have last series is going to be Classic Hits versus the Boondocks Saints. And just as Blaze said, D-Mark here, Classic Hits surprised me, was invisible in the night. One goal in 4 games. Crazy Eddie Killer had to be replaced, or he had to attend to his 16 or 17 children after game 2. Shotgun 73% save percent, almost 4 goals against average. Absolutely pathetic outing over here by the Boondocks Saints, and the Classic Hits. They're getting into the next round, guys.
Yeah, they are, man.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, the 17 kids cost them this series. No, I seriously thought this was going to go 7. Both teams were solid. I still wasn't sold on Couch pulling out a victory in the first round whatsoever. I mean, he did a great job climbing the ranks and getting the position he did for the playoffs. So, I mean, nothing bad to say about the way that he's been actually playing. And if you actually look, I mean, look at Couch's stats right now. I mean, you want to talk about a captain that needed to step up and lead his team. This guy had 6 goals, 5 assists. And he was just leading his offense, and we were feeding Toxic and Kane all night. So I mean, just great, outstanding play. I had Saints in this one, but like I said, he just couldn't get his kids in order, and he just had to go on timeout himself.
Yeah, I too had the Saints in this series initially. They looked good towards the end of that season. I'm a little surprised. But, I mean, I don't want to say that because the Classic Hits are a good team, and they showed that to us in that first round. You had Toxic and Kelch working almost like the yin and the yang. One game, one game Kelch was hot, and everybody played well. And then the next game, Toxic took over. And the next game was Kelchy. And, Kane is always kind of there, supporting everybody and getting it done. But great win, great series by the Classic Hits. I mean,
now we'll have to say this: if they want to win against Wash, they're going. Shotguns he's going to do a better job keeping the puck out of the net, and he's going to need to step up and help him clean up those loose pucks in front of the net. Because going into this week's series with a 73 save percentage, it's not going to cut in round 2. I can promise you that.
Listen, on the series here between the Boondocks, between the Classic Hits, Toxic came out phenomenal. Toxic came out on fire, and we've seen this in the regular season, so we've seen this week in, week out. But the big surprise here, young Couch, man, 11.6 goals, 5 assists. I think that was a bit of a surprise here. He definitely stepped up as a captain. On the other side, you have surprised me. I'm sorry, this guy went for what, 40 somewhat bods in the draft, and you only had 1 goal in the first 4 games of this series. Forget about it, man. Pack it up, man. That's what they're doing here. They're lucky they did not get swept in round number 1 because they scored with like 4 seconds left to force an overtime on there, or it would have been in the first 4. But surprised me, needed to be better. Great job on Classic Hits and shutting him down mostly all series long. Until like game 5, I believe he got like 2 goals, a couple assists on there, but it was too late by then. Ben Swallow came out in overtime to get the game winner to close this one out. That's a guy that Pale Poner decided to trade off his team. He said it was not good enough to play D with Mr. Anderson. Well, he came here for young Kelch and got the overtime winner. LL Cool Sam in net there for the Classics. Great job in net here for him. 47 saves in this one. But yeah, Shotgun needed to be better on there on the opposite end. But he did face some crazy shots, man. They came out giving up these big breakaways to start a period off, to start a game off. That's not how you do it, man. That's not, it just seemed like Saints were always trying to bounce back in this one. Always were down in the series and trying to recover or try and tie up the game. But the Classic Hits were just one step ahead of them. 2 goals ahead, and they take the series here 4-1. Impressive win there. Great job by young Kelch and the crew.
Yeah, and I think they'll do well in that second round. Like I said, I don't see. I mean, congrats to Wash. They beat my guys. On a sweep. I don't see them sweeping again. I think there's a lot of great scoring here for Classic Hits. That's going to be too tough of a team to sweep. Whether or not who I'll think will win, I'm not really sure right now. That's gonna be a close one. That's gonna be a battle.
We'll go.
I agree. Like I said, I do apologize. I meant Cool Sam with the 79, looking at the Master Shotgun sub score. But no, like I was saying, if they want to do a better job, they want to make it through round 2, they need to do a better job of helping the goal, Cool Sam clear out those pucks and keeping the puck out on the net.
Okay.
We're
gonna have our predictions on here, Johnny. I don't know if I sent you the stars of the week for round number 1, where we pick a forward, a defenseman, and goalie. And if you guys have your own or disagree who you think was the top forward or top defenseman and goalie, we could go around a bit on that as well. So let's pull that up here for round number 1. Some standout players at all 3 positions, from forward, defense, and goalie. So at the forward spot, Toxic here. 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. We just went over the series. Tremendous night, tremendous series, both nights there for him. On defense, we got from the Ice Frogs Hall of Fame. 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. He had 2 game-winning goals in that series that the Ice Frogs came back, won it in 7. And then in that superstar, 4 wins, 86 saves, 80.6 save percentage. Anybody on here that you want to give an honorable mention? Do you guys agree with this on here, or maybe one guy that you guys thought was going to be on the stats page here? I mean, for me, as far as the forwards, obviously Toxic with the points amount on there. Wasn't even match. I think, closest guy next to him was, I forget. But you also got to understand, in the playoffs on here, it's not all about points. It's not about the goals on there, because some of these guys that, especially on the defensive side, but it's also, getting the big wins, being able to stop some of the players on there. So, what about Mikey, Johnny, or Johnny?
Well, I mean, if you want to go back, Johnny, bring up that last screen between the Classic Hits and Boondocks real quick. I want to look at Kane's score points. He had he was like, he didn't have a lot of goals, but he did have a lot of assists. He had 11 points for that series. I believe it was 1 goal, 10 assists. Yeah.
Well, one guy on forward, he only played 4 games on here. That was Wizzy Ward. He had 13 points, 9 goals, 4 assists for him. Had he be full time, it'd been different, but 13 points in 4 games, I think, was tremendous there for Wizzy Ward. Same thing with Sauce Walker. Sauce Walker was the force behind that Ice Frogs on that forward line. He finished with 12 points. He had 5 goals, 7 assists for him. For the defense, we put Hall of Fame, but there was other guys that stand out. The one is Kane, for the Classic Hits. He had the most Kane points in the series, Odd Guy too, Odd Guy, but they faced the Orange Sauce. So we gave it to Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, look, when you're on defense, you're getting 5 goals on there, and 2 of them become game winners. That's stepping up. Rapid Calf is another guy for Wash. They only played the 4 games. He had 7 points. And for some of you guys that don't know, Rapid Calf is AKA Chunky Feces,
I did
man.
not know that.
Back in the day. Why change the name, man? I love that name.
I know. That was a fantastic gamer tag. My
Chunky
God.
So
Feces is one of the greatest.
that is Chunky Feces by, some people that may have not known or not known. I want to give a shout out to him because he's doing a tremendous job. He's got McGilla on the other side there with him. He's got Bills who's struggling back in that, but Chunky Feces is doing his thing there for this Wash team.
Yeah, Chunky Feces. Good to see him back. I honestly did not know it was him. That was great. But, he did his thing out there. He had 7 points back there for Wash. Hergsy and Mashapa, 9 and 11 points respectively. Mashapa getting 3. One notable stat. Mashapa getting 3 game-winning goals. That's a big one there. That's a clutch guy right there.
Yeah, and then in that obviously there was some good goaltending. Beat Crips, I want to give a shout out. Even though they lost that series on there, losing all 4 games, he still had the highest save percentage to end round 1. An 81.3 save percentage for him. Faced a ton of shots. Cool Sam also did tremendous job there for the classic hits. He got the 4 wins. Moving on. That's it. That's all I got on the stars on here. We could go on to round 2 predictions, man. Get our matchups here for the semifinals.
Yeah, can you take a look at this first series because we're starting tonight, and you said we got to sign off early tonight as a result of that.
We got a series tonight.
We usually get everything in, so it's a classic hits versus Watts, and you kind of heard what I had to say before about Watts. Doesn't matter. Their offensive game is absolutely incredible, fellas. I think it's going to be a very tough go for the classic hits. I think they could win 1 or 2 of these games, but guys, I'm taking Watched in 6. They're going to take this. They're going to take this series. Lanny.
All right. So Giant going over Wash. Impressive round 1. Only team to sweep in round number 1. Mikey, who do you got here, man? Wash, classic hits. Are you going against Young Kelch again? Are you taking Wash? I mean, you went against both of these teams, actually, in round 1. Here they are in round 2 playing against each other. Who do you like more, man?
Look, I'm nothing against Kelch, but this series can go 2 ways. This is how I see it's going to go. It's either going to be if Kelch can actually, his defense can tighten up and help Cool J out in that and making sure they're picking up their second chances, their third chances, just helping them keep his save percentage low. If they can do that, I see them sweeping. If they cannot help Cool J keep with the second, third chance shots, then I see Wash taking it in 6.
Okay. Johnny, who do you got, man? Washed or classic hits here in the semi? Who's going to the championship, man?
Tie game. Everybody goes home. Nobody's going to win. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be such a close match. I mean, I like both.
The team that did not draft me is going to lose.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to easily say, like, with the other series, it is what it is. But, as long as the Toxic and Kelchi show can continue, I like the classic hits in 7.
All right, so you get it on that toxic train, man. Impressed.
Yeah, toxic.
And I think a lot of people are, man. A lot of people are jumping on there.
Gosh, I mean, you got Mashapa and Hergsy. That's a great duo.
Took down the Saints around number 1. Was very impressed on that. But I got to agree with Giant, man. Even though I was impressed the way classic hits turned out last week, we've seen this happen, man. We've seen this happen to the classic hits. They play, when they played the Sims end of the season, it was a massacre. And I think you're in for it on here as well. I don't see this one close, man. I see this one going maybe 5, 6 at the most on here. I'm also taking Wash on here. I think the only way Wash loses this series, if Bills has like a safe percentage that we've seen Brick City do, 1 goal on 6 shots, 1 save on 6 shots that he had, but I think it's got to be real bad, for something like that. I think this team, you got Mosh, who's been here before, man. He won the belt. He wants to win it again here. He's determined on here alongside with Hergsy. And I think they get it done, man. I think they get it done. Unfortunately, classic hits, yes, they do got weapons on there. Yes, Toxic had an impressive week, but is he going to be able to duplicate that here this week? I think tonight, Wash comes out big, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's go on to the second series, guys. And that's none other than the number 1 overall Cobra Kai against the Niagara Ice Frogs. And guys, Niagara Ice Frogs probably shouldn't be even here tonight. So, I mean, maybe they'll win one game over here, but I think Cobra Kai's got this shit on lock. They're going to win this series in 5 games. Do the Ice Frogs have any chance at all, Flan?
So you're going with Cobra Kai? Yeah, I mean, listen. Some people are, liking this Ice Frogs. They just beat a great team here in the Sims. And Mikey, you talk about the playoffs on here. What about this Ice Frogs team here? They had to play the ranked number 2 team round 1. Now they got to play the number 1 ranked team on here. It doesn't get any easier. If they get past this, that means they got to play their number 3 rank or number 5 rank in the final. So it's not an easy road here at all for the Ice Frogs. Can they do it again? Can they make another miracle upset here?
I don't think so. I mean, you got to look at what they were up against in the first round. They were playing against a team that was nothing but part-timers. Their team could not finish. Excuse me. The Sims couldn't finish it out, sadly, with their top part-time players. That's basically what happened here. It was the case. Now with Cobra Kai, every single player has been playing every single game. So you got to think this is an entire season. These guys have been playing together. Their offense is stellar. That's why they're the number. I'm going to say the top team. They are the team to beat this playoff series. I think they're going to be the one that's going all the way. Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. All right. How about you, Johnny, man? Cobra Kai, or are we seeing another upset here in the Ice Frogs?
I love Cinderella stories, but I do think
But
I do think Cobra Kai is going to take it. I think Cobra Kai ends 6. I think Ice Frogs will squeak out a couple, unless Hugh Laurie plays, then Ice Frogs are going to sweep and they're going to win 10-0 every game. But otherwise, no.
All right, so there we go. I was looking at this matchup, man. I was impressed the way the Ice Frogs came out in round 1. But now you're playing against Cobra Kai. You're playing against a team that has been consistent. Whereas the Ice Frogs have not. I had them as my number 1 preseason ranked team for a reason. And I mean, they've been up there most of the season. But then came a downfall, and I think even in that Sim series, you've seen an Ice Frog team that looked good and then looked very bad, and I just don't think, where they got the wins against the Sims, it was like Superstar stole some games here. They won 2-1, 2-1 games here. I don't think you're gonna get those 2-1 games here against Cobra Kai. I just don't see that happening, and and if the Ice Frogs cannot score or produce those points on there, they're not going to be able to keep up with Cobra Kai. Unless Sue proves us wrong again here for round 2, I'm also going with Cobra Kai. I just feel we're not going to see those tight, low-score games. We're going to see more high-score games, which favors Cobra Kai. Regardless, the goaltending on here, I think that Cobra Kai team with Cobb, with C-Dub, Roman on there, they've really come together. Bomber, and do the Ice Frogs have an answer for them? I don't think they do, man. I think it ends here. I think we'll see Cobra Kai and Washed in the finals. Cobra Kai is the number 1 seed on here, but I think Washed generally is the number 1 team to beat. So that's my finals matchup there. We'll see what happens on here. Anything else, man? Anything else, or anything there's in the chat on there, or anything that we didn't go over regards to? Yeah. Any other final thoughts here, man, fellas?
Schwartz and Ian Mashotpa, I know you guys are kind of active right now. If there's anything you want to input, let us know.
Well, that happens tonight, man. That's going down in a few minutes here. Yep. We're going to have the In the Crease set up. You're going to be able to see that. I don't know if they play 3 or they play 4 tonight.
I thought it was 3. I'm almost certain.
Okay, so and then Monday is off, and then they'll play Tuesday the remainder, and Tuesday night also the other series starts up. That's the Ice Frogs and Cobra Kai, and then they finish up on Wednesday for that one. So it should be tremendous. It's the semifinals. It doesn't get any better than this. Regardless, who wins on here. All 4 of these teams, I think, had a tremendous season and earned their spot here in the semifinals. And it's been a very competitive season. It's been a season here that we mentioned. Before the playoffs even started, we mentioned how close the standings were. How the parity in this league was great on here this season, and that's why we had some of these upsets. That's why you had a number 7 seed win, you had a number 5 seed win, on this, because teams were pretty much in the regular season. You've seen upsets like this happen as well. So will there be any more upsets here in round number 2? We'll see what happens. We got a mixed response there on the Classic Hits to Watch series. Seems like we're favoring more the Cobra Kai here against the Ice Frogs. Nobody took the Frogs, huh? No, nobody's taking a chance with the Ice Frogs?
No. How could you?
Ice cold? Ice cold?
I'd like to, but Cobra Kai is just too powerful. I mean, like I said, if there's any upsets for the second round, it's going to be the Ice Frogs beating the Cobra Kai, if there's any upsets. I mean, regardless of who wins with Wash versus Classic Hits, I mean, I can go either way. And it's like, the Wash beat them. Okay, cool. The Classic Hits beat them. Okay, I'm not surprised. I'm not taking anything away from the Ice Frogs. Sauce Walker is a heck of a player. He can take this on his shoulders and get it done. But honestly, I think that'll be the surprise. I think we'll be surprised if it's like a 5-game win or 4-1 win for the Ice Frogs or something.
Okay. John, you got anything there on your plate? Anything you want to mention?
No, we're good. I just want to thank all the viewers and the listeners again. We're forever thankful for them, because we wouldn't be here today without them. So
Absolutely.
I just want to thank everybody again for watching us every week over here.
Absolutely. Definitely. Just want to make sure everyone, Coach is taking names for captains, like I've been announcing every single time we get. So you're going to get tired of hearing this until we get next season. Make sure if you want to be a captain, put your name in. Even if you're just kind of like on the fence about it, get your name in. The more names that we get in now, and we get to when the Psalms open up, we can get a better gauge on how many teams we can actually run. And instead of looking for captains later, we can have the captains now. So make sure you get those names in. Second, we got to draw this back a little bit with the open door, because last time we had like 10 people come into the chat. It's hard for us to do our job, so make sure if you want to come in, make sure you message me, Hollywood or Blaze first, because we are trying to run the show still.
It's a good time, though. I like having people. I like people.
But it kind of takes away from us trying to do a show when you have 10 people in talking at once.
Yeah, and you got a Game 7 going on, man, of the playoffs, Yeah, and I agree, Mikey, man. And also, I want to mention, if you guys haven't checked it out, In the Crease T-shirts available on the 239 store. In the merchandise, you could go in the Discord, check the merchandise channel on there, or right on the 239 hockey website. They got shirts, there's hoodies, there's mugs on there, all different sizes, colors. So you could pick one up right before the holidays. Perfect time to do it. And
So you're telling me, Flan, that someone can buy a shirt from the store with a picture of my face on it?
No, the faces we have, we got 3 goalies on there.
I'm not lucky enough to have my face purchased, so I see how it is.
They told me, as far as advertisement, they said, put Big Crips, put a Tomahawk, put the line. You put Marie Mike on there, it's not going to sell.
Wow.
You know, I got to do where the sales are, man.
I'm a sexy motherfucker. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe we'll get some alternate shirts later on. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Good luck to everybody. Make sure you guys switch off 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the In the Crease setup. We're going to get all that set up right now. And it's been a great show, man. We'll see you guys, after this series. I think they're taking off next week because of the holidays and all. So we'll see when the next Flan Fan. It'll be definitely before the finals start up. So we'll have the recap as always, and we'll get our finals predictions. Good luck, everybody, tonight.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good luck, everybody, tonight in the playoffs. See you guys.
See you guys in the crease, baby. Let's go.